I hope you're doing well. Welcome to a video of Photoshop Fundamental. And in this video, we're going to introduce you to the Photoshop, their interface, and their workspace. And as a bonus, I'll teach you how to customize your workspace. All right. So whenever you open your Photoshop app, this is what you'll see. If you worked on any kind of project before, this is what you'll see. But if you want to work on a new file, you can always click New File, and a new Windows will open, and it will suggest you uh, a page and the size of page. You could have a template like the orientation, a portrait or landscape, or let's say art book, and then create. Now to add your image, you just need to go to File and say Open your file. And from there, you can open your file. Just look for an image file like this one. And there you go. Guess that didn't really fit in that canvas, so Photoshop created me a new canvas. This floating windows is a new addition to this 2025 version, so you might not have it actually, but other thing will definitely be there. All right, let's get started. First of all, let me introduce you to the menu bar. This menu bar is everything that you need in your Photoshop. Everything that you're working and you're seeing can be customized through this menu bar. There are also option bar and toolbar. Option bar is this one with home and gradient button. Every tool has their own option, like this one, and let's say even crop has their own option. You can also get this healing tool to see that they also have this option. And by option, I mean this size, background, the type, if you're working with brush, if you're working with color, and different kind of option is available for each of the tool. Now, speaking about tool, this is what the toolbar look like. If you click here, you will have more version of this. You can edit this toolbar and add or remove your more tool to this toolbar. So this toolbar is not permanent. This is totally customizable. And if you see that you have some option that others don't, or other have some option that you don't, it's totally fine because probably they have customized this already. And when you're done customizing, you can click done and it will be done. You can also make it 2-row if you want it. Okay, there goes our toolbar, menu bar, and option bar. Now let's talk about panel. This is what we call panel. This helps us with any kind of tool again. So there's option bar and this panel dependent on the tool. Let's see if I select this move tool and try working with this. You'll see that we also have, let's select the brush tool and try applying this brush, and we can adjust our brush and create our layer, adjust our layer, create mask from this layer. And this panel is also pretty customizable because everything that you see in this panel come from the windows from the menu bar, which means this. And you can bring back or send back any of the panel bar anytime you want it. Like the brush, I have this brush tool now, and I can place this here, but we probably don't want it here. But anyway, we can do it. Just place it here, and there you go. Now we have our brush tool, different kind of pattern. All right. So everything that you see in the panel can be customized from this one. Let's remove this brush setting because we don't actually need it. But what we do need is layer. Let's see if we have layer. You can press F7 and bring back layer here. So you got panel, menu bar, option bar, toolbar, and one thing that is left here is the canvas. This is what we call Canva. This is what we work on. And everything that you will do will be part of the canvas. All the tool and all the work is reflected on the canvas. We do have another thing that you need to see, which is status bar. Notice here, this is what we call zoom level. If I zoom out, this changes. If I zoom in, this is also a variable which changes with zoom in and zoom out, and you can clearly see the resolution of the picture right down here. The 626 pixel by 417 pixel and 72 ppi. Now this floating panel you see right here is an exception because, as I already said, you might not have it already in your Photoshop. So if you do, then you probably have the best tool that you need from here and most frequently used tool here. And with that, there you go. You now know about the interface of Photoshop and know where to look and what to look for in which site and which part of the Photoshop app. Now, what I wanted to show you is Workspace. Workspace is the total sum of what you see here. The tools, the windows, and the panel that you see is customized by me for my work. And you can do so for yourself and by yourself. You just need to go to Windows and you can find Workspace there. Let's find Workspace. Let's see if we can find a Workspace. There you go. Now this is what we have in initial Workspace. Now there are another Workspace with their own unique set of tools and unique set of panel called Motion, Painting, Graphic, and Photographic. Let's switch to Painting and you'll be able to see the changes dramatically. Now we have this, well, it just looked different and it's another template. And like this, you can switch to another workspace if you wanted. Now, if you have your customized workspace that you previously did, like this one, you can save this workspace. You can go to Workspace and click New Workspace and save this new workspace with menus and toolbar that you just customized. And if you think that your workspace is getting too much and too messy, you can always reset this workspace by pressing reset this or delete workspace. Let's go to motion workspace. And now the workspace you saved earlier will be there as an option. And you can go back to that workspace anytime you want it. There you go. All right, so that'll be it. Hopefully it was clear and hopefully this will help you as a beginner in your journey to start your Photoshop learning. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. Hello and welcome. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to another video of Adobe Photoshop. And in this video, we're going to talk about a short topic: how to open your file, save your file, and export your file. So first of all, before I start, I just want to say that there's a little bit difference in saving your file or exporting your file. Saving your file doesn't necessarily mean that you're saving it as a usable content for your any kind of work, but saving it does mean that you are saving it so that you can work on that project later. Well, exporting means that you are done with working and you're ready to send it to the client or set it up and send it to the web. All right, now that being said, let me show you how will it actually look. So when you open your Photoshop, you'll have a new screen. where you will have to choose between your work project and a new project. If you click new, you will be shown this kind of option where you need to select a ratio where you want to work. And suppose this is what I want to work on. I want to work on a thumbnail for YouTube. So let's select that and start with that. And then to open a new file, I can do this in many ways. One of this way to do this is to open your file like this, or press Control and O, or go to File and go to Open. Here it will take you to the previously opened folder where you got your picture from. So let's open this one. This one is in different format. I need something a more common format like this, JPG. Okay, let's work with that. And there you go. Well, the ratio that I selected didn't actually match that one. So that is why Photoshop created a new one for me. But if you want to explicitly work on that ratio, you can always just get that. First, let's convert this to a normal layer and take that to your specific ratio layer. And there you go. And then you can expand it, although it won't obviously increase the resolution, but it will look that way. Some part might be cut, or it might look blurry, but this is how you do it. So next time you do get a picture, make sure you know about their resolution and set up your canvas in that order. All right, now if you are done with this, you just have to press this tick button right here, and there you go. Now you have a new file open and you're ready to save it, because I don't want to work here. Like I did a little bit work here and I think I'm done. I'll do something later. So let's save it for later. You get saved, save as copy, and just save as. So if you click save as, you get multiple options. Like you could save it as PSG or PDF or TIFF or any kind of file. Let's go with PSD. This is the default save file for Photoshop. Or if you go with the save a copy, this will act like a copy, and this is more or less like export option. So you get a lot more format option here than you got as save as. Anyway, you can save it as that same option or any kind of generic option like JPG, JPEG, or JPE, whatever you call it. And you also get a quality control option. More quality means higher the size. And you also get this size, estimated size with your slider. And take a look. It did increase this quality with their size. And there you go. And this is how you can save this. But if you want to work on this file again, you probably want to open that PHP file. So let's open that PHP file now. I did save this PHP file right here, so let's look for that. And there you go. It still is with that layer. So I did have previously 2 layer. I still have that 2 layer here right now. And I still have that cutout that was behind this panel, behind the artboard, or we're gonna call it canvas. Now, if I want to save it directly, that if you think that your work is done, you can export it. Go to File and click Export, and select Export As. And here you get to control a lot more than what you see, because we got white, height, scale, resample, canvas size, and all that copyright contact info. the format, which can be vary between PNG, JPG, and ZIP. And there you go. You can just click export and it will take you to your usual folder and you can save this. And there you go. It's saved as the final product. So this is how you open your file, save your file, and export your file. Hope that was helpful. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. Hi there, hello and welcome. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to another video of Adobe Photoshop. And in this video, we're going to talk about raster. What is it? What does it do? And how it's related to Photoshop and all that. Let's get started. So raster graphics are related to the pixel. You know, the screen or the display that you see everything on in this video is made of pixel. The tiny light that can produce three types of color: red, green, and blue, and this three combined color create millions of color together, or billions sometimes. So yeah, these are actually called pixel, and Photoshop has a way to simulate that pixel so that we understand a pixel perfect project of our project. Each pixel has their position and color, and each of this pixel can be used for photos, digital art, or web image within Photoshop or any kind of work. The characteristic of this rasterized graphics is that they're resolution dependent, not like SVG, which scale up to your need. So it has to be tied to the pixel number or pixel count. The larger the resolution, bigger the file size. So there could be, you could increase the pixel size, but it will not necessarily increase the blurriness, increase the actual quality. It might get blurry, but even if you do increase the size, it won't be qualityful, but on the other hand, it might get bigger file size. So there you go. You can just drag and expand your image, but it won't create a better picture quality, just bigger file size. So be careful about that when you're doing and thinking that it might actually increase the resolution. But it is great for detailed images and gradient since it's pixel perfect. So let's talk about pixel and resolution, what they are. You know about pixel already, but there are this measurement system in PPI or DPI, sometimes dots per inch or pixel per inch. So dot per inch is usually used during printing, while pixel per inch is used for a digital picture. Most of the time, the best quality for picture is within 72 to 150 because we do need loading efficiency, and our hardware is still limited to that. If we do want higher quality images, we do need more power. On the other hand, while we're printing, it's going to be a physical object, so we need to go at least over 300 PPI or DPI. Now let's talk about why do we need actually the raster graphics. Because it's excellent for photos and detailed artwork. It supports millions of colors, smooth gradient, and shading. On the other hand, you might consider not using a raster graphic because you cannot scale up like the SVG format. So we do have some scaling up issue. And as far as you increase the file size, we also get more resolution, which means if you do increase the resolution by dragging it on your canvas, it will just increase the file size, not the actual picture quality. Not ideal for simple logos. Use vector or SVG. Now let's talk about some of the common raster format that we usually use. So we got JPG for more compression and smaller file size. PNG if you are working in a transparent file size, if you have a character cutout or logo, you do need to use PNG. ZIF for animation and limited color. GIFF, which is a high quality print ready format, and we also got PSD, which can be actually in any format, and it's basically just a saved version of a PDF project. So I'm not sure if PSD count, but all the others does count, and if they work. Which doesn't work is SVC because they're vector based, and if you are working in Illustrator, probably this is what you're getting, a vector based graphics that are not raster format. That will be all. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. Hey, hello, and welcome. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to another video of Photoshop Fundamental. And in this video, we're going to talk about selection tool. So there can be just three types of selection tool in Photoshop, and those are Magic Wand, Marquise tool, and Lasso tool. So all of you are more or less familiar with Lasso tool. So let's talk about Marquise tool. This is what we call a Marquise tool. Now, there could be many different shape of this. If you want to select a type of shape for your crop, you can go with rectangle, or it could be round, or it could be just a line, or it could be column or row. So let's select something with this, and this will be the cutout of this shape. Now all I have to do is just remove, and that will generatively be removed. But this is not why we're here. We're here to crop the image or select a part of it. Now, since we are done selecting it, we can cut this out from the image and set it somewhere else. Or we can do many different things that we probably don't want to do to the rest of the image, like move this part. Well, it seems it doesn't work because there wasn't really something there to remove. It was just all blue. Now we could also add our generative fill and other type of like coloring, fill, etc. All right, so this is just one of the way to use Marquise tool. You can also use the rectangle tool, and the action will be more or less same, and it will just be in different shape. You can also use this other tool, row or column, but if you use one of them, other one just get canceled. So there you go. You should really know about this. And let's select a column. There you go. Now you can divide your picture horizontally or vertically in two or more separate phases. This is Marquee tool. Now let's talk about Lasso tool. To use Lasso tool, let's go back a little bit. There you go. Now to use Lasso tool, all you need to do is press L, and the Lasso tool will be selected, but we need to pick the Lasso tool from here. And there are type of Lasso tool, like original Lasso tool, polygonal lasso tool, and magnetic lasso tool. Most of the time we use polygonal lasso tool, but let's start with the original. Now with lasso tool, our selection can be a lot more accurate because we have a lot more control here. You just have to select that part like pen and paper, and there you go. And it's done. Now this selection could be more accurate if you just use polygonal lasso tool because you get more control here. Just deselect that part. Let's zoom in a little bit. And now you select. And there you go. We get to rest while we're working, so this work becomes smoother and much more accurate. And like this, you can use the polygonal lasso tool to make the most out of Photoshop on your selection. But with AI, I don't think that is even necessary nowadays. So there you go. If you want to select a specific part or stop selecting, you just press ESC and there you go. No more selection. There are magnetic lasso tool, which works this way because it identifies the pixel on its own and you just have to guide it by tapping it here and there. And most of the time it will do the work by itself. So it's the most advanced type of lasso tool you can get, but you still need to guide it. So just for the accuracy, otherwise it's accurate as it is already. And there you go. All right, so now all we have left is the magic wand. Magic wand is a magic tool. Magic wand is like a magic tool because it selects everything automatically. If you select magic wand, if you want to work with magic wand, all you have to do is just press W or go here and select this one, right click, and you'll find magic wand right here. You select it and place your magic wand on a color. For example, if I set it up on this color, this will automatically select all the color within this resolution. If you want to expand, all you have to do, just press again. And this will select the object automatically. And then you can use the lasso tool to increase or decrease the range of this color according to your need. So there you go. Now you know about Marquee tool, lasso tool, and magic wand tool, which is pretty handy if you know how to make it work. And that will be all. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. There, hello and welcome. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to another video of Adobe Photoshop. And in this video, we're going to talk about layers. What do you find it? Why do you need it? And what does it do? And how to make it work for us. So suppose you're working with your brush tool and you're making shapes like this. Let's say we're making a tree. This will be the length. Now length must be in different color. Let's pick this color. And a bit greener for the tree. All right, so we do need to make some edit to this tree bark, and we don't want to make this happen, or we don't merge our work for tree and leaf together, because when we're trying to make the design, and since they're interconnected, we might make some edit to the leaf, and this might get to the bark or the root. So in that case, what we do is we create a layer. We press here and we create a layer like this. In any case, if you don't see the layer box right here, which you should, you can always find them in the Windows and layer. Or as a shortcut, you can just press F7 and bring it back. So there you go. There's layer. And let me show you how it works. So as I said earlier, we want to work on our leaf in a different kind of layer. So let's set up a different layer here. And since we do have this layer again, we are ready to create some leaf. the leaf needs to be a bit lighter color. So let's give it that. And let's create another for a flower. There you go. Now I can rename each of this layer as our object. And when we need to edit them, suppose we're in the leaf layer, if we do edit them across the board, it'll only work on the leaf. That is the power of layer. It divide and conquer. So this is layer, and if you want to work on this layer with a mask, like you can set this up. This is what we call a clipping mask or adjustment layer. And this is what we call a mask. A mask usually hide the actual pixel, so it looks more like blend. So if you want to work on mask, always again you need to choose your brush tool and paint black, and that way it will hide the thing what you're working for. And if you want to bring this back, you can choose the white one and bring it back by painting this. So there we go. Now you know about layer, creating new layer, the purpose of layer, and layer mask. Hope that helps. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. Hey, hello and welcome. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to another video of Adobe Photoshop. And in this video, we're going to talk about crop, resize, and canvas adjustment. All right, then let's get started. So there are different ways to crop. And one of the way to crop is just straightforward, which is just choosing this tool right here by pressing C and then crop it straightforward. Press this correct icon and there you go, it's cropped. And the way to do that is to use Marque's tool. Just select your shape, any shape. In this case, I'm choosing rectangle. This is better or more accurate version of crop. And then just doing what you needed to do. Since this part is selected, you can go ahead and select the V tool and crop this. Well, this one is in different layers, so let me merge this one. Now, since it's selected, let's select our V tool. And this part will be cropped automatically. There you go. Now you can drag it to a different window, a different canvas if you want it. So there you go. This is two of the most common way to crop your images. Now, if you want to crop another way, you can always go to images and click this button. So there you go. Now you know about cropping. Now let's talk about resize. To resize your image, you need to go to image and find image size. And then make your demand here. If you want to increase the white, you can go ahead and increase it. Like instead of 7, let's say we can write 8, 9, 10, 11. And as you can see, we also get more adjusted resolution in height if you increase white. But if you want only to increase the white, not the height, you can just click here and that will disconnect them. Now let's increase or decrease the height only, while our white only, while our height stay as it was. And there you go. This is the result. Now, and the thing that I wanted to talk about is canvas. You can also resize your canvas and the element that you're working on. It's best if you have multiple layer and all of them need resizing. So instead of resizing each image at a time, you can resize the whole canvas and everything will be adjusted. For example, you to resize your canvas, you need to go to images and canvas size. Here you will find the customization option in pixel or whatever the unit that you're looking for. If you click relative, this will work like that anchor point that was adjusting height and weight. Now all you have to do is increase or decrease this with your value. And everything will be adjusted like this. All right, there you go. So now you know about cropping, resizing images, and resizing canvas. Up the top, and I hope everything was clear. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. Hey there, hello and welcome. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to another video of Adobe Photoshop. And in this video, we're going to talk about adjustment layer, which means you create a non-destructive layer, which doesn't necessarily change or modify the image, but put a layer of adjustment on top of that to make some changes. Suppose you have this on single copy and you are really careful about this, even though you have a copy in your computer somewhere. So what do you do? How do you do this? How do you create an adjustment layer? Well, you focus on your layer. If you don't see your layer, just press F7 and this will come back. And when you have the layer, make sure it's unlocked. For some reason, it might get locked. Anyway, when you have this layer, go and check out here. This is what we call layer style, and this is where we add layer mask, which is also a non-destructive method to editing or merging to picture. And this is what we're looking for. We're looking for adjustment layer, which will change this color or tone to something else. Suppose this was a very recent photo, but the cat died. And so what I want to do here is to put a vivid filter that creates a sense of nostalgia, like red and black and white, something like that. So let's do that. And to do that, we need to let's go with the vibrance. Now we have an adjustment layer. Now let's adjust our colors and saturation and vibrance and see how does it look. There you go. It looks brighter. And still black and white at the same time. So I think it catches the emotion that I was trying to portray here. It is a bit sad or a bit in the past, but still a bit modern. Now, this isn't only about this. You can add on or more, not only one, but more than one of these. So let's say I can also insert the hue saturation or different color, set different color or just straight up black and white. Also set a filter. I will get to choose from here, like this warming filter. Let's say a blue tint. You can also then increase or decrease the density to make it more cinematic. Sometimes you might have more option below, so don't forget to scroll. And if you're not trying to keep this filter, keep this layer, or keep the adjustment, you can always just delete the layer. It's much easier that way. And there you go. Now we don't have that blue tint on our picture. So yeah, that is what we're looking for, and this is how it's used. You go to the layer and select your adjustment layer and choose whatever the effect that you are trying to put on your picture, and then adjust the setting that you're looking for. And that's it. Pretty much that's. Thank you for watching. Have a good Hey there. Hello and welcome. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to another video of Adobe Photoshop. And in this video, we're going to talk about removing background or removing any unwanted object from Photoshop with Photoshop from the image. All right, let's get started. First of all, I just want to say that you always have that option to use lasso tool to select a particular object and remove them or paint it out from the picture. Just cut it out from the image, right? You select the object and then cut it out. Remove this object, right? And then you can cut a piece of the other part like this, or copy this part and use your move tool to do this. I guess this is one of the way to do it, but there's always a better way. And this is what we're going to talk about today. Let's bring that back. And for removing this type of unwanted object, you have the healing tool. All you have to do is select the spot healing tool and paint the part that you don't want. And there you go. It's just that easy. Now let's talk about background removal. You actually have this option right here, but for some reason, if you don't see this option for background removal, you always can go to properties and scroll down. And the quick option, you will see the two options: select subject and remove background. Select subject will select only the baby, where remove background will select the subject and remove the background altogether. Depending on your hardware, this might take some time, but it always work. Now, since I have the selection, I can just press Control X to cut out the baby and place it in other frame or other canvas. Or I can just remove the background altogether. And this will be much easier than that. Let's wait and see the result. There you go. Okay then, with the help of a generative AI that runs on your computer, this really helps in 2025. Alright, that will be it. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. Hey there, hello and welcome. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to another video of Adobe Photoshop. And in this video, we're going to talk about everything that is related to typing tool. First of all, typing tool is used for obviously adding text to your picture, to your workbook or canvas. From anywhere, you can just click T and the tool will be selected. Now you have a cursor that is carrying text box. So wherever you click, it will become a text box. And like Office, you can change the color, change the font, and change the height or size of the font. Like this. You might not have this floating button, floating windows or floating tools, but what you will have is this properties. And from here, you can change everything that you could from here. So you got the font, and you got color, you got sizes, you got space between line, and a space between words or letter. So let's change that. First, we'll have to select the font that you have already added to the text if you want to edit them, and then make all these changes. Otherwise, it won't work. I'm just going to use this, but you should use the tool that you'll have on the panel right here. And you can change the size, so let's do that. And also let's change the font. There you go. Now press ESC whenever you're done, and press V if you want to control this text box and move it somewhere else. So that's the basic. And now you also know about formatting the text. But let's talk about transforming the text. Text in Photoshop is created with its own layer, as you can see. And since this is in a different layer, we can add an adjustment layer on top of it to give different kind of filter on different kind of text. This means you can also use your move tool to position or to resize them. Resize the text box along with the text. So this is what we call transformation. So now you know about adding text, you know about formatting text, and you also know about transforming your text. Now what you can do here is, what you could do is also convert this text to shapes. So to do that, all you need to do is click on your layer, right click on your layer and choose convert them to shape. Okay, so we have a problem with our text, so let's try changing that and let's try it again. Now, if you want to turn your text into a shape and customize this like a shape, you might now have the option to choose your font, because not all fonts support this. Well, to make this happen, you need to go to Windows and find Character. For that, let's try it again and let's see if it works. It doesn't. Now let's choose a common font like Arial. In Arial, you can see that we got version of different kind of Arial. I'm going to choose regular. And the problem that you see here, that is in this box bold style. This is actually artificial bold, which is not bold. And this is done by this option. Now you cannot use this style if you want to turn them into shape. That is why we need to disable them one by one. Now we don't have any box bold style, so it should convert to shape. And there you go. Now you have a shape that you can customize and even do lots of things like shaping it in a different way. And you won't get this option that you got with text. Instead, now you will get scale, rotate, skew, distort, or perspective. Let's go with the perspective. and create different kind of perspective like this, which you couldn't do with text. And if you want more options, we can try distort like this. And let's and if you press free transform, you can just transform the box like this. And basically you can do anything that you could do with any shape, but with text. Now, since now it has been converted to a shape. You can also add effect that you could apply to the shape. Now, you could apply different kind of shape. All you need to do is go to layer style. Try that. In this layer style, I have many different kind of option to add different kind of effect. For example, we got inner shadow, inner glow. Let's try inner glow. And click OK. Do we have that? We probably do, but we don't see that very much. Let's try some filter like this. And we can also add some brightness level. Now we got a shadow. That is because I selected too much what is that, feather. And my point is you can add many different style like this to anything that looks like this. I mean, anything that you could do to shape, you can now apply to the text, since this text is now shape. All right, that will be it. And this will be everything about you needed to know about shapes and text. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. Hey there, hello and welcome. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to another video of Adobe Photoshop. And in this video, we're going to talk about different kind of text effect and style you can have in Photoshop. All right, let's start with our text box. You just need to press T and the text tool will be selected. Now all you have to do is click anywhere and write anything, like the baby is crawling. Now the font color is not very admirable, so let's make it more noticeable. I can use my V tool or move tool to move this across the canvas. There you go. Now what we wanted to do here is adding layer or applying styles. One of the way to do it is to style the layer. As you can see, the text open and create a new style every time I write text. So if I double click on the text layer, I get this layer style. And now with this layer style, we can add different kind of style like inner glow, inner shadow, outer glow, drop shadow, and all that. Let's try drop shadow along with outer glow. And there you go. As you can see, there are some form of shadow here. Now, if you don't want that shadow, you can always just delete the layer, not the layer, just the adjustment part. And untick it. Like there are no outer glow now. Or let's try to hide the shadow effect. There you go. Now, this is one of the way to do it, and you can always get the style I try. There are many kind of style that you can try it. I do encourage you to try this on yourself, by yourself, whenever you do. And you can customize this, what you have here, the effect. For example, we can add different color of shadow, like a bit reddish. And you can already see that this shadow is a little bit red. Can I increase the opacity? And you can change the angle of the shadow. Also, the distance, spread, sizes of the shadow. If you click anti-alias, this will look much smoother. And if you increase the number of noise, well, this is what you'll see, more noise. And this kind of apply to every other style, like the colored overlay. If you want to try it out and give it a different color, you can do so. You change the opacity and blend mode to, let's say, darken, and it's a little bit darker. Okay, so this is one of the way to add your style. Another way of adding the style would be converting to shape and then applying all this effect that you could apply to shape, like distorting or transforming, skewing, whatever you wanted to do to the shape. Everything can be done if you just convert them to shape. And to convert them to shape, all you need to do is right click on the text layer and find convert to shape. And there you go, it's been turned into a shape. And now you can use your move tool and do this. Although you could do this for a long time, I mean, always you could do this. But now you have the option to distort or create perspective out of it, like this, which you couldn't do before. So yeah, there you go. Now you know how to style your text. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. Hey there, hello, and welcome. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to another video of Adobe Photoshop. And in this video, we're going to talk about blending mode and opacity. So this tool feature allows you to control how layers interact with each other while creating amazing effects. Now let's talk about opacity. Opacity simply control the visibility of any kind of layer or any kind of object, because opacity can be applied to layer as well as any kind of object. But in this case, we're talking about layers. And we're also going to talk about blending mode. Blending mode changes the way one layer blends with another layer underneath it. They don't just adjust the transparency, they also mathematically combine pixels for creative result. And this is what I'm going to show you how to do it in Photoshop. And you can find tons of blending mode, and this could go up to 25. There are normal, dissolve, darken mode, lighten mode, overlay, and so on. You can also have color mode to change a different kind of tint, give it different kind of color touch. Now let's see some real uses combining with opacity. Let me add a new image on top of that as a layer. Okay, then let's add this to the next layer. There you go. Now I have a different layer on top of that. Now what I want to do is adjust the two of them and combine them. So if I select the opacity, as you can see, we can control the visibility of our object or our images. This also applies to any kind of shape that you'll create and as well as the text box. So this not only applies to images, this can also apply to the cutout that you'll create, like let's remove the background for this one. Let the cat remain only. And now let's add some color touch. Actually, let me show you how each of them will look like because it's really just easy to do. Take a look. Darker color comes with darker color. And if you want move to the next sector, which is solely made for creating more brightness in different way. And then we have the overlay section, where it tries to create a filter on top of this layer that we're currently working. So this kind of work like 3-layer, and this try to make difference instead of just merging them together. And with hue, saturation, and color and luminosity, we can control our color if we do select them correctly. So there you go. Now you know about the opacity and all kind of blending mode that you could think of. You can also go to the blending option and further customize it. Suppose I have this token. Now I can increase or decrease the level of darkness and also control the opacity directly from here. And if you want to see the pixel or transparency, you can also get it from here. And there you go. So this is how you blend your layers and control your opacity to make it look different. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. Hey, hello and welcome. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to another video of Adobe Photoshop Fundamental. And in this video, we're going to talk about filter and effect in Photoshop. This tool will allow you to enhance, stylize, and transform your images with just a few clicks. And it's not even that hard. All right, so let's talk about what are the filters. If you are using phone lately and you have this edit option in your gallery, you probably know about what filter is. This is really common nowadays. It's not something that exclusively available to Photoshop or any photo editing app. It's really common. So these filters, you probably have some idea, but let me give some theoretical idea about it. Filters are preset of adjustment that apply unique looks or transformation to your images. You'll find them under the filter menu at the top. You already have that. Now this means what I'm talking about is there are a couple of adjustment layer on top of this filter layer, which has a name for everything. Like it's separated in group, like one for dreamy vibe, one for old vibe, one for gold vibe, this type. And these are made by adjusting different color, tint, hue, saturation, all of that. But we don't have to do it with filter. There's just preset. So there you go. You can see that there are some default filter already, and you can use them. Some of the most popular filters are in the blur section. You probably used Gaussian blur, motion blur, or you probably also used sharpening, liquify, or camera raw filter. All of them can be found here. There you go. So this is liquify, camera raw filter, blur. There are also pixelated filter. Let me add some of this to show you how it actually look like. So let's add a Gaussian blur. And this is actually what it looks like. Take a look. I can increase or decrease the effect like this. There you go. But we don't want that here. And you can also use camera raw filter like this. This just takes a little bit more time. And there you go. You can adjust this and create different kind of effect that you really like. Now let's talk about effect. Effects are also known as layer style, which applies to changes like shadow, glow, stroke in individual layer. We've already been through this effect. You already know what effect is. So let me show you again, although you don't. Effect can be found in this section, create adjustment layer. In the adjustment layer, you can create different kind of effect like levels, curve, exposure, brightness, or you can double click and this layer style will come up. And now we can add different kind of effect to this, but I think I cannot directly apply it to this picture. Instead, I can apply it to the object that we create on top of. Like if I create this object, and fill this with a different color like this. And now I can apply different kind of style here. Like this drop shadow. Now this part has a shadow now. You can increase or decrease the type of shadow, and the shadow was previously made red for some reason for some experiments. So this is what you see now, but usually it's by default in not red, it's just dark. You can add multiple effects like this, and you can even combine different color, different type of effect and layer all together. Let's add some glow to it, and you can customize them further within this section. All right, now let's also add some filter on top of that. This time we want to liquify. Now this looks like the cat is thinking of something. And this filter is obviously not limited to this. You can also add noise, create pixel, or create a pixelization of this image like this. Let's add it to the main layer. Let's sharpen the edge or sharpen overall. Now it looks much more sharper. We have a pixelated version of this image, which again is just a layer of pixelization, not actual. So there you go. Now you know about effect, filter, and combination of both. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. Hey, hello and welcome. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to another video of Adobe Illustrator Fundamental. And in this video, we're just going to introduce you to the Adobe Illustrator. I'll go through the basic instruction, basic shortcut, and the interface. All right, let's take a look. First of all, the first thing you should notice is this menu bar. Everything that you will do, you will customize, and you will work with will be from here. Even the tools and the panels you see in two sides are also part of this menu bar. So everything in the Illustrator does come from here. Now you might say how? This is where you get to see the windows, because we get context taskbar, help bar, layers, which is this one, and properties, prototype, store. If anything is ticked here, that will appear in this side. Otherwise, it won't. And then you can also get anything that you see here from this menu bar. For example, you can get different kind of object and tools that you can get from the toolbar, also from this menu bar. That could be combination of object type or selection or effect. Anyway, the toolbar is this one. This is what we call our toolbar. Now with this, you can customize your toolbar like this. And if you click here, this toolbar expand into something like this, more tools and more feature along with this. You can make it double-sided or one-sided, up to you how you want it. Personally, I do feel that it's better if it's with the whole screen. Anyway, there are toolbar selected in different category, can be selected in different category. For example, we have select. This has 3 categories. One of them is lasso, and we also got shapes, different type: rectangular, ellipse, which is just round, and we get hexagon, a polygon, and custom shape, which is also known as shaper. Then we get pencil, pen, curved pen, and if you are not sure what they are, just go over them, and this will show you a little bit instruction video or animation. This is eraser, which is pretty much self-explanatory how it looks and how it should look. And then we got some more action-based feature like this shape builder. Each of the tool has their own shortcut, like this one has shaped M. And with shape builder, you can create a complex shape by combining different shape together. And then we got rotate, which is just pretty much self-explanatory again. You can rotate your object or text box with this tool. And then we got blend. Take a look at this. You'll understand what does blend do. So it basically blends 2 or 3 more combination of shape together and make it look like one object. And then we get type in path, type in text box. Type in path means if you have a let's say if you have this circle, type in path will give you the option to type around the circle. Let me give you an idea about it, because this is where many people get confused a little bit. Okay, then if I select type in path and click here on the path, let's try to zoom in a little bit. Now let's click on the path. So this is area type. Okay, type in path tool is here. I'm sorry about that. Anyway, if you want to type in path, you should click here. And there you go. This is how the text will look like then. And like that, we got navigation system, the hand which navigate through the canvas instead of moving the object. And then we got our rotation view, which works better in 3D, but you can also work with this 2D image. And this is basically zoom in and zoom out. Just have to press Alt while zooming out and press your mouse whenever you want to zoom in. And if you press Control and 0, this will set up your artboard in a perfect space. And there you go. That's basically it. But if you want to know more, you can select your selection tool with V and then take a look after your selection on the side. Everything that you work on the artboard will have their different option, and this will change based on what you're working on. If you're working on text, then there will be some text option. If you're working with just shape like rectangle or ellipse, there will be the transformation and the customization button and option right here. And layer will be there. If you don't see any of that, you can always get that from Windows, like this one, layer. Many of them have their shortcut, many of them don't. If you know the shortcut, that means they're the most frequently used and you will need them. So learn the shortcut from this table that is self-explanatory again. And with that, our overview of illustration is over. Hope that helped. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. Hey, hello and welcome. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to the video of Adobe Illustrator. And in this video, we're going to talk about how you can uh, open and save your file. All right, so by opening and saving, there's actually many type criteria that you should follow, because saving just isn't saving here. There are different type of work that you are doing here, work for printing, work for web, and based on that, you have to save your file, whatever the demand. So as you can see, I have a TV right here and I want to save this. But first, let's go through the opening file. Whenever you open your Illustrator, you'll see an interface like this. This is where you will see your recent work. And if you have some favorite, you can have it. You will see here too. And you can sort it in different category: name, size, and type. And if you want, you can search for filter and make your interface a bit more customizable. And then you have to choose whatever the process or whatever the type of work you are going to do. Suppose if you are working for a flyer, postcard, poster, or book cover, maybe this ratio will be the good for you, best one for you. If you are working for a page like letter or just page in general, this will be for you. If you're working for a screen, a video thumbnail, maybe this one will be best for you. And if you want more preset, you can always click more preset and create your custom one by sizing giving your exact height and width with pixel or an inch or point or pix fit, whatever the meter or whatever the unit you are looking for. Anyway, after you have made your choice, you can select your preferred theme or preferred ratio and then click OK. By the way, you need to have 72 to 150 dpi if you are working for web version or application. But if you're working for printing, like book cover, flyers, poster, all that will be high, which is 300 ppi and actually more than that. And your color mode should be for printing, CMYK, and for digital work, it should be RGB. And there's perfect good reason for that, why these two work for different kind of reason. Anyway, let's go with this one and create our new artboard. And I actually did create an artboard, which I first showed you. Now suppose I have worked on it and I want to export it. How do I do it? I need to go to File, Save As, or Export As. And then save it or export it as any format that you need it. There are PDF, there are JPEG, there are JPG, PNG, and each of all this format has their own strength and weakness. For example, PNG has the strength in transparency. If you are working with transparent background, that means a character cutout, or it could be a logo. You're probably working with PNG. If you're working for a book cover, probably go for PDF or JPG work too. Now, whatever you need, there are SVG, which is best for web because it scales with the page and zoom in or zoom out. There are many kind of different format that you need or you probably saw here. Pick one which you need and then go with PDF this time. Click export. And if there's any warning, just click yes, and there you go. It will be saved in that directory. And done. This is how you create your file and save your file in Adobe Illustrator. Hope that was helpful. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. Hey there, hello and welcome. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to another video of Adobe Illustrator Fundamental. And in this video, I'm going to show you the navigation system of Adobe Illustrator. First of all, there you go with your mouse pad, or if you're using mouse, just click here and keep clicking and hold, and then you can move up or down to move your canvas or artboard up or down. And there's something in there, a horizontal scroll bar. Click here and move up or down to navigate through on the left or right side of the artboard. If you press Shift O, you'll see that there's you can select the whole artboard. And if you copy this and paste this, there'll be two of this art. Now, with this, you can work on two artboards side by side. Of course, you can create some modification in this, and maybe instead of a TV, you can have a moon. And then you can navigate through all of them. So that's all for the left and right horizontal navigation. And as you can see, I'm actually using my trackpad or touchpad here to browse through this. If I just move my finger, two finger at a time from left to right, I get to do this. If I move my two finger again from top to bottom, I get to do this, and bottom to top, there you go. Now, there are some basic navigation tool that you will find right here. This is pretty much self-explanatory. If you want to zoom, you can just press Z or Z and then press on your artboard. Or you can press Control, Alt, and then click, and that will zoom out. And this looks a little bit messy. Now, we can easily fix this by pressing Control and 0. Sorry, not that. Get that out. Control and 0 to make your artboard more stable here. Now, if you want to do it without the mouse pad or trackpad, you can take your hand and then move through it by clicking and dragging through it like this. If you want to rotate your whole object or canvas, you can do so too by pressing this one. And probably you have noticed each of those has their own shortcut. So if you want, you can memorize the shortcut Shift plus S and H and just Z or Z. And take a look. I can move my whole artboard or rotate it completely. There you go. So that's actually basic navigation. Now, there are obviously the shortcut. So make sure to use that. And if you want more panel here, each of the object that you select here will have their own panel. For example, I have selected this shape and they have their panel right here. Now, if I write a text here, there you go. Now I'll have this character panel, which will work on only text. So that's basically it. And this is how you navigate through your Adobe Illustrator section. Thank you for watching. Have a Hey, hello and welcome. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to another video of Adobe Illustrator Fundamental. And in this video, we're going to talk about tools for drawing, which I'm talking about pen and curvature pen. So if you go to this drawing section, you'll see there are a number of tools like pencil, eraser, pen tool, a paintbrush, and there you will find curvature and pen. And we'll focus on these three tools. First, let's start with some drawing, a pen. Let's draw a human figure uh, like this. A stickman. Now that doesn't look so well, but why is it so? First of all, the head should be rounded, right? And it's not so round. And it has a fill, which it shouldn't. Instead, I want stroke, and I have the stroke. What if I leave, give out the stroke and just keep the fill? Let's do that. Okay, that doesn't look so good. So I'm going to revert back by pressing Ctrl and Z. There you go. Now we can obviously draw many kind of form or format or shape with this pen tool, but sometimes we need to create a customized circle, right? What do we do in this case? Then we pick this curvature tool. With that, we can draw an imperfect circle like this. There you go. Now I can give it a head. Since I give it a head, let's give it a little bit fill. Now what I want to do is give it a body. Let's try that again. There you go. And a leg. Another leg. Maybe a hand. If you want to stop this wire from going with your cursor, you can press ESC to cancel pulling your wire. Or if you think that you're finished with this wiring, you can press enter or ESC again. So there you go. We have another. Well, I think this isn't a stickman anymore. This is something more than that. It's a robot with floating arms and leg. Electromagnetic robot, I guess. So there you go. Now you know about the pen tool and curvature tool. But if you want to take a look at the paintbrush or want more smooth operation and more accuracy, you can always use paintbrush. It's just straight a brush like this, and you can sign your document like this, and you can customize your brush from here. You can even create your own brush, but that's a topic for another video, and you can see what kind of pattern we have in this brush, like this new one. Or you could also use this cat tongue, whatever this is called. I do like to call it calligraphy, but there's actually another brush called calligraphy, and that is this one. There you go. And you can add your own custom version of your brush to a library and use it or share it with your friends, etc. So there you go. Now you know about the pen tool, paintbrush tool, and curvature tool. And I hope that you will be able to use it to your need. And that'll be all from me. Thank you for watching. Hello and welcome. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to another video of Adobe Illustrator Fundamental. And in this video, we're going to talk about basic shapes and their customization and pathfinder. All right, let's get started. So all the basic shapes that you will use on your lifetime with Adobe Illustration will be here. In this section, you will see this shape section as different kind of shape, including rectangle. And if you press more, right click, there will be star tool and line segment, which is pretty much self-explanatory. If you drag and draw it, you'll see that this always draw a star. And you can rotate this, and you can do this a little bit animation, and click delete to delete this. And then we got rectangle tool, which does this. And if you zoom in and pull through this small green, small blue button, wall button, this will create a rounded corner for your rectangle. This is pretty useful, since in any other Photoshop or any other type of designer app, it's really hard sometimes to use this to create a rounded corner for a rectangle. Anyway, we also got line, which is just line. Yeah, just line. But then again, we also got pen tool with stroke, which is much more customizable. So I doubt that you're ever going to use this. Then we got circle, which could be imperfect, but if you don't want an egg, just a perfect circle like the moon or the sun, you can press Shift and draw. That will give you a perfect circle like this. And if you want to delete everything that you have worked on, just Control A and click delete. Then everything will be deleted. You can also add some honeycomb or hexagon or polygon, and then customize this if you need. Like if I want, I could create a triangle from this hexagon. Just press here and increase or decrease your angle until you get a perfect circle or you get a triangle. So 3 is for triangle and 20 is for near perfect circle. And as you can see, this is the transformation properties, where you also control many different kind of aspect of your shape, like the size and width, and size and height. Also is position, and that take effect after you are done your editing, like this. Try here. And you can also rotate this like this. By the way, I'm using my trackpad or touchpad, or whatever you want to call it, to scroll through this option. So for some reason, it's just easier with trackpad. And obviously, you can customize more with your fill. You can fill this with color, then stroke, which is the outline. You can customize that too with your customized pattern or color, and increase or decrease how much you want that color to take over. And then you can also choose the opacity, which just make more visibility or less visibility, and then you got effect. For example, if I choose a stylize effect, and so drop shadow, this will actually drop some shadow. And there are more like this. And if you want to edit all of that together, you can go to appearance and, well, hide this like this. Or if you double click it, you can again bring this back and edit this effect. So that's it. Now let's talk about Pathfinder. Oh, and their custom shape, our shaper, which is just this AI type of shape where you draw a circle or a shape near to a circle or rectangle, and it automatically recognizes what you're trying to do and give you that version near that aspect ratio, like this. I'm trying to create a square. Let's see if I can do this. But I cannot draw something that has a curved angle, like if I try to create this shape, I will get, maybe it's a 30 or 60, 30 or 120 in angle, but it will always give me 930. So there's some limitation. And if you want more rounded, you can get this and an imperfect one too. So there you go. Now you know all about shape. Now let's create a house. Let's give it less flashy view. Stroke that big is not necessary, so let's decrease this stroke. And fill this with wood instead of blood. Okay. Now what I want to do here is to add a hobbit door. By that, I mean this, or an arch door. Okay, arch door will do. Let's not go for the hobbit. All right. So wouldn't it be better if I, instead of giving this circle, I created a hole inside the house? Let's actually make this a house at least. With my pen tool. Okay, that looks nice enough. Now let's bring out the Pathfinder, go to Windows and look for Pathfinder. Now we will have different options here. For example, this will unite all of them. So as you can see, this is a different path, and this is a different part of the section. What if I click Control A and unite? Now everything is just one part of the picture. If I select this two, which will create a minus font, now this is a cutout. Obviously, I didn't want to include that, so let's exclude that and start over by selecting just these two. And now let's create this cutout that I always wanted. And there you go. And with Pathfinder, you can do this. Now this looks like something out of Chinese movie, right? And if you want to just keep the intersect between two patterns, you can do so by clicking here. And there you go. Now you only get the door. So this is include and this is exclude. That's all. And I hope that helps. Everything that you saw here will work the same way in your computer with Adobe Illustrator if you have the 2025 version. And if you don't have the 2025 version, the thing you saw until now will work the same way. So don't need to worry about that. And that will be all. And by this point, I'm assuming that you have learned about basic shape, shape binder, hexagon, polygon, triangle, pathfinder, include, exclude mode, unite mode, and all that. That'll be all. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. Hello and welcome. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to another video of Adobe Illustrator. And in this video, we're going to talk about path. So in case if you don't know what path is actually what all these shapes and all this art and Illustrator are made of. Let's take a look. So if I zoom in, you'll see that green line, or a blue line actually, not a green line. Let's increase the stroke. Now this line is more visible. Take a look. This is what we call path. And with path, we can customize our stuff. Like I can drag and drop, drag and grow it. I can pull through it, create a morph shape or a warp shape like this. And I can do so because I have this anchor point right here. Now this anchor point are also known as part of the path. I mean, it's not actually something that people call it, but I do call it. So don't look it up. Okay, there you go. Now what I want to do here is use this path to customize my shape. Again, get it back. You have to click a couple of times and then there you go. Now, what if you had more path right here? Would you be able to customize it even more? Well, actually, yeah. If you had more path and this more anchor point in this path, you'll be able to customize this even more. So let's see how you can add more anchor point. In this tool, let's add more anchor points. Let's add brush tool and let's brush. Let's add pen tool and use this to add anchor point in this exact spot. There you go. Now, if I go back to using A or this selection tool, not this one, there's two selection tools, direct selection and this selection. So we're going to use direct selection and use this one a couple of times and pull through it. And there you go. Now, if you want to remove this one, all you have to do is again bring the pen tool and click here, and that anchor point will be gone. And with that, you can edit your path and change your shape like this. And okay, that'll be all about path and changing shape. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. Hello and welcome. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to another video of Adobe Illustrator Fundamental. And in this video, we're going to talk about groups and layer. All right, let's get started. First, let's start with a shape. So there you go. I have a rectangle. So make it a bit curved. Now let's give it a circle. Now it is much like a Japanese flag without the correct color. So let's make it right and actually make it a lot more Japanese than it is. All right, so there you go. And there you go. Let's change the stroke. Actually, we need the stroke, but a little bit more, a little bit less than what we have. A more thinner line. And let's make it a little bit wavy. All right, we have our Japanese flag. Now, what we have here actually a lot more than what it seems. As I said, I was going to talk about layer, so there you go. This is where everything exists, layer. Now, if you don't see the layer, you can press F7 and it'll be back. And that doesn't work for you. You can always go to Windows and look for layer. And you'll find the layer option right there. You can hide it or bring it back from this layer. And take a look. I have the total of layer 1, which is divided into two shapes. First shapes is an ellipse, and other shapes is path or a rectangle. So the layer 1 is actually divided into two parts based on our number of shapes. And this is how all layers work. Whenever you draw a shape, it creates a sublayer inside the layer automatically. And beside that, you can create your own layer by pressing this button right here, create new layer, and that will create a new layer. If you don't need it, you can always delete this by pressing this delete button, and there you go. Back to square root. Now we can hide part of the layer from this sublayer because you'll probably see this like this, and you can hide all of that like this and bring it back. And if you want to hide part of the layer, part of the element, you can go to the sublayer by pressing this arrow key. And suppose I want to hide the circle. I can do that by clicking here. And suppose you decided that nobody can edit the circle. It's forbidden. So you can press right here and it will be locked. And now you cannot edit this one. Do always pick the other object, but not the circle. No matter how you try, the circle will not be picked up. So there you go. This is how you lock your element or shape. And even if you do try to select it, it will not be selected. So unless you unlock it, you won't be able to work with. And suppose now we have a situation where nothing of the element is selected. So if I click on the round button right here, you'll see that one of them is being selected and it's not the circle because we're actually selecting the path. So if you move, this path will be moved, not the circle. If you want to move the circle, you can select it from here. And now we can remove the circle or edit this as we see fit. Now, if I select all of them, we are creating a group. Well, usually there's an option to group, but since there's nothing here, you can always right click and create a group from here by pressing this group option. Now you cannot use a circle or the path differently. You always have to use both of them with, well, as if they're the one. Although you can double or triple click it to only select one of the part like this. This will create an isolated area, even if they are grouped. Let's zoom in and try to select the circle again, only the circle. They're not locked. Okay. And if you want to ungroup, you can always click here if you have this button. Otherwise, you have to right click and click the ungroup from here. And that will make them a separate entity. And there are options to create new sublayer if you want. This is what we call sublayer. And you can also make or release clipping mask. This is also part of the layer. You can locate your object through the search. And suppose you have to select the one first. Suppose I have selected the path here. Now if I click on the search, this will show me where the path layer is. And here we have direct export, only for the selected layer. And we can also set the selection. And if you have too much layer, you can always filter them and apply the filter from here. And that's all. I hope by this point you know everything about layer and grouping. Whether you can also group, after grouping, you can create grouped color and a grouped transformation. So there you go. That will be all. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. Hello and welcome. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to another video of Adobe Illustrator Fundamental. And in this video, we're going to talk about fill, stroke, and swatches. What they're and what they do. Everything will be explained in this video. So whenever you draw a picture, draw a shape, you get this. If you have a fill with a certain color, you will always see this. But Originally, you should be able to see something like this, and maybe a little bit of this. So this is what you will see in the beginning. Now, this is where we get to use fill, shadow, fill stroke, and opacity and other effect function. Take a look at the fill. You can fill any of your object, no matter if it's a triangle, if it's a rectangle, if it's an ellipse, or something round, or if it's a honeycomb polygon or hexagon, whatever you call it. You can fill it up with your favorite color. It could be orange, that could be let's say red, or that could be green. Now, along with the fill color, you can also create color or add color to the stroke. And the stroke is what we call the outline. So outline is equal to stroke. If you press stroke, you'll see that there are also the same amount of color that you usually see in the fill. These are the same color palette, so there's no difference actually. So you can add any kind of color to the stroke or outline. Let's pick a shiny one like the yellow, and instantly it shows. So it's not much visible here, so I'm going to change this here like this. You can go over, click on this number of any of the panel that has number and move your mouse circle, and this will increase or decrease based on your rotation. So try that. It's very handy. There you go. You can increase or decrease the stroke or outline by like this. And you can also use opacity, which means visibility. And that affect any of the shape or any of the object that you have created. Like this. So there you go. Now you know about fill and stroke. Now what we need to do here is also add swatches. Now swatch is basically color palette, and usually it's not here, but you can get it from this Windows menu or menu bar. Go to Windows and you will see swatches. Okay, there you go, swatches. And as I already told you, that swatches are basically color that you see in the film or in the stroke. But the best thing about swatches is that you can add color, and you can already see that this is what I had did previously, added more color here, and I can remove this color. Now if I want, if I select all of this, I can create my new color by pressing new swatch group. And if I press selected artwork, that means the artwork I have right here is the source of their inspiration and color. And there you go. Remember this red, orange, green, yellow, and black. Take a look. Red, yellow, green, orange. Maybe this one was the orange one. So all the color that we have in our artwork is so all the color that you see in my artwork will also be visible here. And like this, you can add your color. And if you open a new file, after that, you'll see this palette anywhere within your work from the next time, unless you select all or delete them. You can also select just one of them, like the black one. I didn't want it here, so I'm just going to delete this. Yes, or enter, and there you go. We only don't have the black one. Otherwise, we have every other color right here. But let's say if you want to add another color to your swatch, how can you do this? You can also add new swatch and select the new color, and you can edit your entered color by clicking this and selecting or reselecting your color palette. Like if I change the orange to a new color like a white, I can do that. But then again, it just changes the whole color because it's basically recoloring. And there you go. This is how you can create a new swatch based on that after you have created this. So this will not actually be editing. This will creating a new set of color for the new swatch. All right, that will be it. Hope that helped. And now you know about fill, stroke, and swatches all together. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. Hello and welcome. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to another video of Adobe Illustrator. And in this video, we're going to talk about global color and gradient color. So let's take a look. I have this shape that I just created. And now I want to add a gradient color, which means gradually add more color. There could be more than one color or two color. And if you take a look at your swatches or your fill, you'll see that you already have some gradient color. So start with any of them. I'll go start with sky. And now you get to see more customization option here. Because you can see that there are three types of main gradient pattern. One of them is called linear, radial, and another is freeform. Linear is, well, a line horizontally. Radial, on the other hand, is a gradient color that start from the bottom, start from the center and expand all the way. And a freeform lets you choose where you want your gradient to start or finish from. You can draw this line and move your dot to create a new pattern here, like this. And you can choose between points or line, so that this will now create a line instead of just acting as a point. There you go. Now if you want to add more color or different kind of color to your gradient, you can do so by choosing your primary color, like this one. Let's set it to green. And there you go. So this is how you can add your gradient color. Now this can also be done for the swatches, for the stroke. Let's add this to the stroke. And there you go. And same way, you can change your pattern and you can change your color for the gradient. Now let's talk about global color. If I add a color from this, and now I add a color here, and change this to a different color. This is a normal color, but if I add a new color to the swatches, I'll have this option to make it global or not global. So now, if I change this color after using this, take a look. If I select this one is made with non-global color. And if I want to change this from the swatches, and let's change this to yellow, the only one that changes color is actually the selected one. But if I select the global one, even though I haven't selected this one, and change the color of the global one, just take global, let's say into purple. This changes all the color that use this swatches and this color palette. And that's the global color. And you can use this by just clicking this box and making it global and clicking OK. All right, so that will be it. Now you know about the global color and you know about the gradient color. Hope that helped. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. Hello and welcome. Hope you're doing well. In this video, we're going to talk about Adobe Illustration and obviously some of the function of it. So in this video, we're going to talk about basic color palette and recolor. All right, let's get started with the shape. So let me create a shape first. Let's try to create a little bit something more complex. So let's try to create a bird this time. I know it doesn't look much like a bird, but it will soon look like this. I mean, it should look like this. There you go, much like a bird now. Okay, now let's try to color it. What color do you think I should do? Select all of them and let's color it red. By the way, I'm actually using a global color. When you select all of the color, all of the object and use your fill, you're actually coloring all the object that you have selected. So be careful when you select all your object at once. Now, there you go. Now this is just using me with my swatches, using fill, or using my swatch like this. Or I can also use my custom swatch or custom color palette from here that I've created. I can also change my stroke to several point below, like this one. Okay, that will do. And let's change this to another color. So there you go. This is how you use the colors and color palette. And there's more customization option here. If you are trying to use brushes, you can do so by pressing B and then selecting any of the stroke from here. You can also add symbol and gradient. But here's the thing. When you're coloring your shape, you will see this quick action. And there you will see this color or recolor. Now I have only one single color. What if I had more color than that? I can add more color. One for stroke and one for the other. Now there are actually many different objects right here. So let's add different color to this. I think this will do. Now add a color here, and maybe this will be orange or something close to it. And this here will have a red color, and the leg can have boots. Maybe green. Okay, let's give it green. And we can also change the stroke if you want it. Okay then. Now if I press recolor, I'll have more color than that. Let me select all of them, all of the object. Now let's press recolor. And now you can see that we have a clock here. And we can use this clock to change this color instantly and giving it more randomness, like from green it goes to pink and other color. You can reduce the effect, lightness or hardness, but the color will more or less be same. Like this. And that's it actually. This is how you use your color and color palette and recolor your design. That'll be all. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. Hey there, hello and welcome. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to another video about Adobe Illustrator Fundamental. And in this video, we're going to learn about text and how to create vector from the text. So if you press T, this will be selected as the text toolbar. Now you can press anywhere and there will be a text box. You can write random words, pretty much all. Or you can create a circle like this. Maybe not like this. Like this. And add less fill, more stroke. And you can also use this type on path tool to type on path of the circle. There you go. Now, either it's just a text box or it's in a shape, you can always create or format this text according to your needs. Suppose you can create your own font or change your font to something else if you have selected all that. Let's say this one. We can change the font to something else like this happy birthday. We can change the font from bold or light. You can change the font sizes. And we can change the color too. And that's part of the formatting text. Now, sometimes it happens that the font that you're using might not get transferred to the printer or the client that you're working for. And instead of creating a package, you want to embed this text in your graphics. If you want to do that, you need to go to Type and look for this specific settings that create your outline. So we're looking for outline. Let's see if this is here. There you go. It's for some reason it's not actually working. So let me try selecting them and create this outline again. Okay, there you go. So the outline works when you have selected the whole text or the text box or the shape that you're working with, not when you're in the text box and editing the text. Keep that in mind. And then press this create outline. Now it's not actually text anymore. It looks like text, but if you go to the layer, you'll see that there are all this vector combining and created this whole set of text. And you don't even get the format option now. That is because this is now a pixelated text, which means it's a vector. And that's how you create your outline. Now, since it's a vector, a shape, a lot of things apply here, like the fill, the stroke, and opacity, and also the effect. There you go. So yeah, this is how you create your text, format your text, and create an outline and treat it like a shape instead of creating it like a text. And that will be all. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. Hey, hello and welcome. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to another video of Adobe Illustrator Fundamental. And in this video, we're going to talk about colors, text, and their path. So there's just two ways to create a text. You can create a text with a text box that you can resize as you see fit, or you can create a shape like this hexagon. Give it some stroke, increase the stroke, and change the fill color or just make transparent. And then choose the type on path tool. Type on the path. If you zoom in, let me zoom in a little, and you will see that there's a blue line. This is what we call path. All these dots is called anchor point. If I click on the path, you'll see this. This is what we call type on path. Let's try writing something else rather than Lorem Ipsum. Well, let's try writing happy birthday to the year 2026, which means Happy New Year, but a bit more complex. Now, obviously, if you select all of them, you can format this text, like change the color to something else, like wood color, and change the font to more deliverable one, like this one. This one kind of looks like my handwriting. And this font size, so you can change the font size as you see fit and as you see need. There you go. Now there could be more option to this. Which is giving some effect. Usually you cannot give it some effect because the effect won't show up in the text box. Like if I try to give an effect, there will be some stuff that is grayed out. We cannot give it an effect to the text. But what we can do is we can give effect to the shape. And what another thing that we can do is create shape out of text. Now to do that, we just need to select the V tool by pressing V, the selection tool, and press Ctrl A, or just select the thing that you're trying to turn into the shape. So the text that you're trying to change into shape. Then go to Type, Find Outline, Create Outline. This can be done by pressing Shift, Ctrl, and O, which is a shortcut. And there you go. this is now a shape instead of text. So everything that applies to the text applies to the shape will apply to this text. Now we can give it some effect like cropping shadow, or maybe something 3D instead of that. A 3D effect can be done too, like just inflate this. If your computer is not as powerful as mine, it might take some time, but it will do the work in the end. There you go. And you can actually change this type of effect and type of path too. Let's go back to creating the text into the text, not the shape anymore. You'll know that it's a text again when you see this format option. Now let's select this and select our path. Now if I select this, and give it different kind of font or size, clips, or type and path section like this Q, which is a different kind of view from the rainbow that we're seeing here. If I press Q, this is what it looks like. And we can change that to any other format that we wanted, like create a ribbon, or this could also be gravity. So yeah, there are different kind of effect even without turning this to a shape. And there you go. This is all you needed to know about typing on pad. And you need to know about the pad. It doesn't only work on hexagon or polygon shape. It works in any kind of difficult shape or more complex shape like humanoid or a boat. Anything that has a pad can be typed instead of stroke. And that'll be all. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.
Yeah, I hope you're doing well. Welcome to another video of Adobe Illustrator Fundamentals. I hope by this point you know about Adobe Illustrator, all the basics and all you needed to know to create basic icon and logo set. And this is why in this video we're going to talk about design process of logo, what you should keep in mind while designing a logo. Alright, let's get started then. First of all, you should start with research and discovery. You should understand your brand, your purpose, your value, and audience. If you're working for someone else, make sure that you understood their goal and their theme and their message with the logo. Take a look at their logo in the previous year and their previous version of the logo and be inspired from that. Look at the colors, look at the symbolism, and look at the message behind it. You also should understand and study the logo and their timeline of development of the competitor, the design trend, and everything that is related to their logo. So here you're doing two things. You are studying your own theme, uh, your own company, and you're also studying your competitor. Another thing that you should do is collect inspiration. Now, don't just study these two, study the greatest art of all time and get the inspiration from them. That's all. So, in summary, you should study three things: your company, your competitor, and all the greatest art you could find to enrich your logo with all this information. And the second item, when you are already starting your work, you should start with sketch and brainstorming. And you should never go for the main work when you're just starting. Start with some sketch and draw over that to start your main work. Explore different style and ask for feedback on the style and then start. Focus on idea, not the details at first. So we're down to our third level. In this level, I'm assuming that you'll be using digital drafting, which means it's much more reliable than paper drafting. Since you will be using Adobe Illustrator, you can use your vector software, refine best sketches into a clean digital logo. Experiment with shapes, symmetry, typography, and negative space in that draft. In the fourth level, you have a good idea about what you're going to do and what your design look like. Now, all you have to do is understand the color and typography and what will be the best fit in this logo. Try different color, different theme, and again ask for audience, ask for their opinion, and start with color and typography and try different style. Choose the best color palette based on brand psychology and the competitor psychology and the greatest art you just studied, and pair typefaces and readability with uniqueness. So it will not just be looking better, it will also have to be something that is unique and readable. In level 5, you are doing refinement and final feedback. Narrow down to the strongest option and strongest opinion. Check scalability across sizes, test logos on mockup, and gather client or team's feedback. This feedback can go up to the highest level of order, and you can get the feedback from them to refine your work again and again until they find it satisfied. Okay, so that's actually it, but at the end, you just have to deliver with specific format. Again, if you're working with printing, you should go with the CMYK color, and the format should be PDF or EPS, and then your resolution should be more than 300 dpi. And if you're working for web, you will have to have PNG, JPG, or SVG as your format. The resolution should be 72 to 150, and your color theme will be RGB. So yeah, these are the final deliver. Let's go through a summary. So we've learned that you'll first go to research and strategy. You will exactly study three type of thing: your competitor, your brand, and all the greatest art you could find. You'll sketch ideas instead of starting your final work from the beginning. Digital draft, find out the best sketches that you have and create a draft. And when you have the draft in level 4, you will go with the color and typography. Try a different color and typography and make sense of the study you just did in level 1. And in the end, in the fifth place, in the fifth level, you will collect your feedback and refine it as much as possible and necessary. And the level 6 and final level, you will finalize it and deliver in specific format, resolution, and color mode. That would be all. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. Hey, hello and welcome. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to another video of Adobe Illustrator Fundamental. And in this video, we're going to talk about different layout of printing and digital. And by the end of this presentation and video, you will be able to understand and learn the essential for print and digital, understood color resolution unit and output record by each of this system and layout, and hopefully you will understand all over a summary. So let me introduce you to the different idea of printing and digital. In print layout, usually worker flyers or poster or book cover or book page. So this usually have a resolution, a ratio that looks like this, right? Now this ratio works because people hold their flyers or hold their book in a portrait mode, not in landscape mode. And yeah, there are more resolution in the printing press than the web version. And usually in the web version, you have your own respective ratio for your post. Instagram has their own ratio, which is 4 by 4, and there's Facebook, which is 16 by 9. They have their own ratio. So layout will vary depending on the medium. Could be different kind of web and different kind of print style and different kind of work. But understanding the technical requirement is essential, and good design it balances function and aesthetic in both of this layout. Whenever you're working for print, you have to keep in mind that you're working with different color set than the RGB that you see on the screen. So this color set is called CMYK color mode for printing. You can customize the bleeding that is ideal between 3 mm to 0.125 inch or 0.125 inch, or the resolution that you can customize should be more than 300 dpi because well the real world need a little bit more resolution to be understood and not get blurry, and the format that you use should be around PDF, EPS, or TIFF. Most of the time it's PDF, so yeah, there you go. And the thing that you should focus on, although you can focus on more on artistic value whenever you're working for printing, but you should be keeping an eye on the typography that so that it may remain readable and physical in the format. Now let's talk about digital layout. Digital works for RGB. The same picture and color that you see screen works for this. So there are the two color mode in Adobe Illustration. One of them is CMYK, and another is RGB. Now RGB is made for the process and progress of designing web version of any media. So choose RGB whenever you're working with digital layout. So it also works in pixel. It works in pixel rather than inches, but you can make it work in either way if you are sure about your size. And the resolution in this case is a little bit lower because we need more optimization in the web rather than more details. And if you want more responsive design, you can adapt to different devices. There are options for this, like you you can get different kind of layout, different kind of format, and different kind of sizes all at once with Adobe Illustration. You do have that option, so try to use that. And the file format is usually between JPG, PNG, HVC, and if it's animated, go with the ZIF or GIF. Again, the color difference is tells a lot. So set your resolution in 300 dpi for printing, and then if it's for web, go with 72 to 150 ppi. For digital color mode will be CMYK in the print. The color mode in digital will be RGB. Most of the time, you measure the printing process with inches or millimeter, while RGB measured them with pixel. The output you get will be tangible in paper. You can bend it, and the output that you get in the digital form will be screen based. So it will depend on your screen how it looks most of the time. Now, this is all you needed to know for difference between layout and digital and physical aspect of illustration.
Now here are some best practices before I go, because why not? For printing, you should create precision. You should have precision, bleed, and quality proofing. For digital, optimize for fast loading and device compatibility. And in many cases, you might have different kind of resolution for different kind of device and different kind of ratio for different kind of device. Use consistent branding across both medium, and typography should be clear and scalable no matter which medium you're using, could be print or digital. That'll be all. Hope that cleared things up, and now you know about the difference and different part of the digital media and printing media. That'll be all. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. Hey, hello, and welcome. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to another video of Adobe Illustrator Fundamental. And in this video, we're going to talk about brushes. If you press brushes B, you'll have this brush, and along with this, you will have this custom option to choose the stroke and the brush. Let's go with the lower point, and let's brush a little bit. So here is a brush, and suppose this is my signature, which is actually not. And what we have here is different kind of stroke, different kind of brush. I can select this and make use of this to create new tool, new art. But we can also add a new brush. If you click here, right in this plus section, plus button, you can create a new brush. And this will give you a diverse section of settings that you can use to roll over and use this parameter to create a new type of brush. Let's go with the calligraphic brush. And here I do have some parameter like the angle, roundness, and will it be the fixed or just a random point? What will be the variation and their rotation degree? The size. There will be 3 sizes, and each of them can be bigger or lower by default. And there you go. I can create new type of brush. Now if I can use this brush, create new type of art, and as you can see, this is a little bit different than others. I can create many different kind of brush like this Bristol brush. So this is the preview that you see here, and this shows exactly how it will look like. Now if you want different pattern in your brush, we do have that option too. You can also adjust the opacity, thickness, density, length, and stiffness. Let's use this and see how it actually looks. There you go. It's a bit lighter than this one, but similar. Now let's create a pattern brush. Okay, so the pattern will look like this. There's also key color, stretch to fit, flip along option. Let's go with this. Okay, this will do. Now this one is a little too big for my test, So let's see if I can make it smaller somehow. If I double click this, I get to edit this again. There you go. Now let's try to use this and smaller. And it has this nice pattern, which is also customizable. But that's the topic for another video. But by this point, I hope that you already understand how to use brush and their stroke and customize your brush and create a new brush by yourself. That'll be all. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. Yeah, there, hello and welcome. How are you doing? Well, welcome to another video of Adobe Illustrator Fundamental. And in this video, we're going to talk about pattern and texture. All right, let's start with some introduction. First of all, if you don't know what pattern is, well, it's a repeating design. Like if I made a pattern using just two circles, this will be repeated again and again, like I copied and pasted this. So this will be a pattern. Now talk about texture. Texture is like instead of filling this with color, I can actually fill this with texture, like a texture on the woods or a texture of water or texture of wall or concrete. So that will be texture. I hope you have some idea about what texture and pattern is, because this is just language, not actual thing, not actual option in Adobe Illustrator. But we're going to make this an actual option here and see how it works in Adobe Illustrator. First, let's talk about pattern. So a pattern can be geometric, organic, or abstract, any kind. Let me just draw something like this will do. Let's add something else on top of that. Maybe a hexagon will be better. There you go. Now if I press select all of them, and let's create a group. And now what I want to do is include some pattern. Just fill this up with the color. Okay, let's fill this too with color, not the whole thing. I can actually lock this one. Oh, this is actually in the group, so I can't change that. But just apply some lock in this. Okay, and now let's add color to this. There you go. Now what I want to do here is add some pattern. To add some pattern, you need to go to Object, find Pattern, and select Make. And there you go. This becomes a pattern that you can apply. And you can add this to swatch, like this one. And next time you draw something like this hexagon, this will look like this. Or you can draw this, and as you can see, this is what it looks like. All right, there you go. So this is the wonder of pattern, and this is how you can enrich it. So by this point, I'm hoping that you know about swatches and pattern, because I already discussed about the pattern thing. Now let's talk about texture. Let's create another artwork. Okay, let me keep this pattern here. All right. So now I have this rectangle, and I want to apply some texture to it. And you can do so by going to swatches, and giving it a pattern like this. Let me select it first. Now there you go. The texture has been applied. And this texture can also be applied to the stroke. So let's add that to the stroke. And there you go. So this is how you can create your pattern and create your texture and then apply it to your object or the artwork. And this will help you to keep your brand image and the color palette similar to previous version. All right, so that will be it. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. Hey there, hello, and welcome. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to another video of Adobe Illustration Fundamental. And in this video, we're going to talk about isometric and flat design, two of the most frequently used design that you can see in recent days in your digital screen. Most of the time, it is made for a web application or anything in social media to grab the attention, create symbolism instead of printing. Let me introduce you to this two idea of design. So both are modern design. Both are used in digital devices and digital purpose like UI, infographic, games, web, or branding. But the difference lies in depth, perspective, and realism. While flat design seems to be more flat, and isometric has a little bit of more depth and 3D perspective. Let's talk about flat design. So the definition of flat design lies in minimal style without any kind of depth, shadow, or gradient. So this is just flat out color, but heavily relies on the symbolism of the topic. It features simple shapes, clean line, bright color without any kind of 3D perspective, pure 2D. Best thing about flat design is it's just easy to read, fast loading, and it is great for icon and mobile UI. But one of the worst thing about flat design is it can look too simple. There's no artistic value. I mean, there are obviously some artistic value, but this is much less noticeable in flat design. So it has limited design choice and limited for complex data visualization. Most of the time, it is used in app icon, minimal infographic, and web dashboard. While on the other hand, we have isometric design, which is, well, a design choice with more depth and perspective. It has a 3D-like style with equal to 30-degree angle. Most of the time, it looks like it has a 3D design, but it's actually 2D design. Feature depth and dimension without true perspective, cube-like grids, or multiple visible sides. Best thing about isometric design is it's dynamic, engaging, and great for illustration, maps, and games. It's less about symbolism, a little bit more about color and art. The worst thing about isometric design is it's more complex to create and have your asset. But then again, it's not that complex. It's just more complex related to the flat design. It is best used for game art, 3D style infographic, and isometric cityscape. And the main difference is, I already said that, depth. The depth, well, in isometric, they have a 3D illusion. While flat, there is no illusion, there is no depth. It's just pure plain 2D on a 2D plane. And again, flat design is very much simple. Isometric, a little bit less simple. And it has more details and more perspective and more depth. Could be gradient. Could use more gradient color too. And there are some difference in their use cases too. Flat design is used in UI, icon, apps, while isometric design are used for infographic and games. Their visual impact in minimal and clean, which is the main core concept of flat design. Well, isometric is a choice of design where the audience has to be engaged and the designer chooses their dynamic. And let's talk about the best practices for both of these design choice. First of all, flat design, when you're doing flat design or creating a design with flat perspective in mind, you should focus on more clarity and speed matter because it's going to be on the application icon or something that needs to load faster. It has to be more symbolic than more artistic. And then we have isometric design. This is best for storytelling, visualization. So use it when you are doing storytelling and visualization. You can combine both to give you the best option, and that will make the design more simple and yet more appealing to other people. So yeah, that's basically it. Hope that helped. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. Hey there, hello and welcome. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to another video of Adobe Illustrator Fundamental. And in this tutorial, we'll design a professional coffee shop logo in Adobe Illustrator. The logo will combine coffee cup icon with text for a clean and modern look. All right, let's get started then. First of all, we need to start with a perfect layout. And this isn't the layout that is used for logo design. So we're going to design a new kind of, get a new kind of layout where logo design is usually done. And that kind of design is usually a square, which can be, let's say, 100 or 1,000 by 1,000. There you go. Now I have a square layout with 1,000 by 1,000 pixel. Now, since our document setup is ready, we have to choose the color mode. I hope you already know by this point that we use CMYK for printing, and we use RGB for anything that is on the screen. So we need to choose the color mode and set this to the RGB. Let's find the color mode and see if we can change this. So it's already set in RGB, so we don't really have to worry. There you go. And let's turn off the CMYK. All right. Now we'll begin with simple shape, a circle for the cup and a rounded rectangle for the handle. And all right. It will be the top of the cup and there will be only stroke. Okay then. And another will be like this. Let's bring this one on top of this. Let me select this one, the bigger circle, and let's cut it out. There is a tool. Actually, let me just fog this one so nothing get past it. Or in this case, we can use the lasso tool and delete the selected part. You can see there are some problem here. Let's remove that problem. Okay, then you can work with this. All right, so we have our cup. All right, this will do. Now let's create another circle for handle. We do need a little bit of rotation here. Let's set this behind the other one. I think this one need a little bit more stroke than others. So let's make it happen. And there you go. We have a coffee mug. So our coffee mug is ready. Now let's add some coffee here. We can do so by a curvature. Maybe this one will be the best. There you go. Let's leave the isolation mode, and everything else is much more visible now. So we have our coffee, and we actually have some shape here that I guess can be filled with color. So let's fill this with the mild coffee color. There you go. And there you go. Now we have a cup, and our logo is almost ready. Now what we need to do here is add some text now. So I'm going to add some text here around this area. Let me create little bit more curve. And we're going to choose type on path tool. And here I'm going to use the path to write the bean and brew, our coffee brand. Obviously, this looks a little bit too pale, so I'm going to give it some more details. Change the font. And change the color. There you go. Now what else can we do here? Let's see if we can make it more appealing. Now with outline, we do have more option to just make it larger like this. And also increase the stroke. And there you go. Our logo is ready. If you want, I could give it a rounded circle and wrap it around it. Let's do it in a new layer so that it doesn't interfere with others. We need a perfect circle for this. This is why I'm going to press Shift and this one. Let's place it properly. And now if I wanted, I could give it different kind of color fill or maybe no fill at all. Okay, let's try giving it no fill at all. Less fill, more stroke, a different color stroke. There you go. Now you can also add some effect to it, like not this one. The effect will be perfect for the cup. So let's create an effect for the cup. You go to the effect, stylize, and drop shadow. And there you go. A perfect logo. I know it's not that perfect, but still, it looks nice. And with this, using all this tool, you can create your own logo like this. That'll be it. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. All right, folks, in this video, we're going to talk about the project where we develop our business card. So we'll design a modern minimalistic business card with Adobe Illustrator, and you'll learn how to set up print, ready file, use typography effectively, and keep it clean and have a professional layout at the same time. Let's get started. First of all, we need to select the perfect layout for our business card. So open a new file that actually look like a business card. So let's go with this one. Now, it is going to be a printable file, so we do need to be careful about color. Let's change the color mode to CMYK, which is best for printing. And with that being set up, let's get to the real design. First of all, let's create a background for the card. I think this will do nicely. And I do want a little bit rounded corner, so I'm going to drag and drop this, drag this to make it more rounded. And there you go. I do need some more stroke here. So let's increase this a little bit, and that will do. Now we have a base for our work, and what we need here is information: name, title, phone, email, website, and a logo. I'm going to keep the background close to white or just white. Maybe close to white is better answer. Okay, that will do. Now let's add a logo here. Most of the time, the logo you get will be provided by your client. So you don't need to worry about this. Let's add a placeholder for logo instead. This will be our placeholder. This could be a company name, company logo, or just the picture of the person that we'll be working for. Now all you need to do here is add those text boxes. Let's add a box for name. Let's make it larger. Let's say the name will be John Doe. And let's copy this so that we can make more boxes. Let's copy this sometime more because we need at least 5 or 6 box. We got 4, and now we got 5, and now we get 6. The first one is okay. We have a box for name. Now we need another box for title. And let's say executive officer. We do need another box for company name, which should be included in the logo. Let's say the company's name will be Microsoft. Okay. Now we can add more details like phone number. Let's say the phone number will be +123, and it's not a real phone number, by the way, so don't type it and make a fake call. Now let's add email. Email will be hello@gmail.com. And you can also add website example.com. But another thing that you will notice about modern business card is they often will have QR code. So this will be like this with a bit rounded corner and some pattern like this. And the thing is the typography. So keep your eyes on the typography because you have to guide your audience to the card so that they understand what is most important and what is not. For example, the name should be more highlighted, bigger, and the title should be smaller than that. So let's make it happen. And so is the phone number. And all of that should be same size as this. So again, this will be around 26. And so this. Now to make some changes and actual changes, you can make a different color. It has fill, and you can add more stroke to it so that it appears different, like this. And you can add that to anything else like this. Or one of the things that I do here is completely remove this name. There you go. Now take a look at this. Whenever you see this, what do you see first? First of all, you'll probably see the shiny one. So most of the time, the shiny one, the most shiny one will be probably the logo of the company, and beneath that will be the name. And now, after you see that, you'll probably see the name, John Doe. And right beneath that, we have the title, phone number, email, and website. They're in the same size and same spectrum. So there you go. I think now it's ready to guide our audience to from company's name or company's title or company's logo to the actual business person and his title and his contact information. Now, this is a very basic card. There are no, this is a very basic card. Obviously, you will not be following this template. You'll have to go through some experience of researching and inspiration. You'll have to research your client's previous card and if he has any competitor, and if he has any preference, take that into note and look through all the available template and all the available card you can find on the internet and combine all of these ideas and design into one card. And this is just a basic information with template that you will see many tutorial. The goal of this tutorial was just to show you how you can use your text and your shape to guide your audience through different kind of pattern or different kind of information in the card. Basic use of typography and color theory. And that'll be it. Hopefully it was clear. And thank you for watching. Have a good day.